Welcome back to our podcast interview series. Today we're talking about the best questions that you can ask on any interview. Separate yourself from the sea of other podcasters by asking better questions. Hey, I'm Coach Molle from Visibility Hacking Studios, and apparently I ask great questions. I've been interviewing people for the last decade, and boy, oh boy, the difference is huge between people who ask really great questions and those who are very surface level. They don't feel connected to their guest, and they definitely are showing that they haven't done much work ahead of that interview. Don't just rely on the fact that you have a guest on your show to create great content. You have to put effort into planning the right questions, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So we'll start out by making sure that you are building the solid foundation. Then we'll talk about what you should be focusing on. And then we'll round this out by talking about one thing you need to remember before pressing record. So for this and more, roll that intro. When you're structuring your interview questions, I want you to start by focusing on first shared knowledge. What is in common? What is shared knowledge between you, the host, your guest, but also your audience? You know your audience better than your guest knows your audience. So it's your job as the host to create that roadmap, to frame the experience, to help contextualize what's about to come for your audience members. You know what information they've known from previous episodes. You have shared dialogue and shared lingo within your community. So it's your job to create that roadmap and help them understand why this guest is so important, why they really need to pay attention to what's about to be said. When you focus on that shared knowledge base, everyone will be on the same page and they'll want to pay attention. And do this at the beginning of the episode so that they don't have to listen to the entire episode to find out why they're so important. You want to tell them right up front. Question of the day. I am curious about how many guests have you brought on to your show? How many people do you think you have interviewed in your entire lifetime? Maybe you've never interviewed anyone, or maybe you found us after you've started that journey a bit, or heck, maybe you're a pro. Let me know down in the comments. Now, once we get deeper into our questions, we've started with that broad knowledge, that shared knowledge base. Now we want to get more deeper and a little bit more specific with our questions. This is where you're going to start asking two really important questions. 2 words you need to write down in bold letters on sticky notes in front of every interview you do. I want you to ask how and why. Those 2 questions will help you create a line of questioning that's going to really drill down and give your audience members specific and actionable information, truly valuable interviews. Ask how and why. How did you accomplish that? Why did you pick that strategy? Those kinds of questions are really, really powerful. They're also very simple to ask. And another simple thing that you can do to boost your brand visibility, to really take your brand, your message, and your movement to the next level is to hit the subscribe button here on the Visibility Hacking channel. You'll get access to the rest of today's video, the entirety of our podcast interview series, and so much more. So hit that subscribe button and become a visibility hacker today. Now, interviewing people and preparing your questions ahead of time, it should never ever feel like you're in a straitjacket. It should never ever feel like you have created something that's too structured, because that's going to feel too structured. It's not going to feel organic. It's not going to feel comfortable when you're listening to this interview if all you're doing is following your pre-scripted questions. So feel free to relax, to be curious, and to genuinely connect within your conversation. Allow questions to come up. Go with the flow. Have that moment of connection, but always know that you have questions to help guide the value. You want it to be comfortable. We've talked about this before. We want to build the know, like, and trust factor, not only between you, the host, and your guest, but also between you, the guest, and your audience. So be relaxed, lay back a little bit more, take a big breath, be curious, and let your questions kind of just flow. I know talking about just flowing in an interview can be really, really nerve-wracking. So if you haven't already, make sure you get your copy of the interview checklist. It's available in the Visibility Vault, absolutely free. There's a whole training on it for you. But what I want you to do is go through that checklist so that you can be more relaxed, more curious, and more involved in your interviews to create better value for your audience. You can get your copy in the Visibility Vault at visibilityhacking.com/callingmyshot. Hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this series. Let me know if you have ideas of other series you'd love us to create for you. I would love to do that for you. And in the meantime, remember, I love you. Be excellent to each other. And just go live because your people are out there waiting for you.